Welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. I'm going on a little bit of a rant.
Love it.
So I've been seeing a lot that people don't think I read my own queries. And I read a lot of queries, so that kind of bothers me. I see that I have an assistant or an intern read my queries, or I have AI read my queries,
And
and all of that is
can
because
AI read queries? Can I just have AI read queries and answer that? I don't know how that would work. But anyway, I
I feel like
digress.
AI
I'm
can
sure
do
somebody
anything.
will tell me they can. I'm sure they can, but whatever.
Yeah, I think AI can do anything now. Anyway, because I read my queries quick, people think that I'm not reading them. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what query reading looks like on our end, and also dispel the rumors, folks. I read my own queries and I read them at random times of the day.
I also hate the idea that an assistant or an intern can't read queries and know how to do it. Like we don't train them.
That's another good point. That's a
That
smart
really
rant.
irritates me. These are people who are want a future in publishing as an agents and who are often building their own list and often given an opportunity to read a more senior agent's queries so they can actually pull for themselves out of it. So sometimes you get two reads out of that.
That's true. That's a good
Anyway,
point.
that's my side rant, but continue with your rant.
Yeah, well, I mean, that drives me nuts. So I think the thing that gets people is I answer queries very quickly because I will read queries, and we've talked about this on our channel a lot.
Yeah,
We read queries as a form
daily.
of procrastination. We read queries to start our day, sometimes like, in the car or watching a game or idly scrolling while watching TV or whatever it might be, at a doctor's office. If
Yeah,
I
I've been in my query inbox already twice today and answered queries. I
exactly.
will probably be in there two, three more times today.
Yeah, sometimes scrolling while I'm eating lunch. Sometimes, like, instead of scrolling, I would rather be reading through a query,
Yeah,
trying to find something new to read. So I am reading queries at all times of the day.
yep, me too.
Sometimes I use it as a way to stop scrolling, to put my phone down, and I just open queries. There's always queries in there, no matter what time of the day. Queries roll through all hours of the night,
Yep.
and I will jump in at random points throughout the day.
And
So,
if yours just happened to come in 5 minutes ago and I happened to pop in,
right.
within 5 minutes you could have an answer. I love the idea though that you can't win. Like if I
But
take a month to read your queries, I am too slow and how can it take that long? If I take 10 minutes to read your query, I'm too fast. How could it possibly take that long?
Well, that's the funny part because now if I read something that came in 10 minutes ago, I won't reject it. I'm like, I have made myself crazy over this because I'm like, they're gonna think I used AI to read it. So I'll just leave it in there and I will
And
come
but
back
that's
if too
inefficient.
much. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I once had somebody mark mine as not read. So they basically pulled it and considered it not read because I took too long to read their query. I think it was like I took 5 weeks, but because I'd responded to other people and hadn't responded to theirs, they got mad and basically pulled it. And I was like, well, okay, but
We were
so
considering that longer.
it wasn't months. It
Yeah.
wasn't months. No, I can't, we can't speak for other agencies and other agents, but at BookEnds, we have a policy that everybody responds to all queries and that everybody, well, it's not a policy, but everybody manages their own query manager. Now, how you do that, and yes, a lot of times we have assistants and interns in there. A lot of people do. I do think that doesn't work against authors. Also, keep in mind, we get a lot of queries that aren't at all fits. I get a lot of people, I'm not doing YA or middle grade. I have a lot of people who will label theirs like contemporary romance or
Oh, sure.
a contemporary novel, but when I read the query, it's like YA.
Yeah.
And so if I have an assistant in there, an assistant can go through and see all of those things that are absolute no's for me that people are trying to do end runs around and reject that.
Yeah. Also, I mean, my assistant knows my taste
Right.
pretty
Right.
well. So
Right.
if they're rejecting something, which often they are not. They will
Yeah.
tag it with like a little red
Yeah,
tag for me to
typically
read and
they
reject.
tag it. Yep.
But if they were, I would trust it.
Yep.
And if someone else that knows my taste, that knows the market is in my inbox saying, I don't know about that one, I trust it.
I do too. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have that person working for me if I didn't.
So I also think this applies to submissions too, because especially
Mm.
if you are in a position like us where we are both actively building our lists right now and on the hunt for something new and exciting, I am reading my submissions sometimes the day they come in. Like if something comes in that's been exciting me, I load it on my Kindle and the next time I have a free minute to read, I will open that and start reading it. So it's also likely that I will have looked at your material within a couple of days and sent feedback.
Yeah, and the flip side of that, I once got criticized because I requested too much. And, the people were sort of mad because there's no way I could read that many submissions. We don't read the full submission. I mean, we're not everything we request. In fact, typically, if we've read the full submission, we're going to offer representation. Usually, when we are passing on something, we know at some point in that submission that it's not working. Now, sometimes I've had authors say, well, can you tell me at what point you stopped reading? That doesn't necessarily mean that's the point where there was a problem.
No, sometimes I'll read past it and sometimes I will just not get very far.
Yeah, sometimes and it's a variety of things that I don't think I can say, well, I read 150 pages and you can go, well, that's the point where there's a problem. No, it could have been the pacing all up to that point. Could have been the characters. I was trying to see if I could make it work. It could have been a million different things.
Yeah,
But I think it's very rare that any agent reads a full submission and then passes.
yeah, for sure. So I think there
So,
are two takeaways. I think the first takeaway is just because you get a fast response does not mean that the agent is not reading. Again, there might be variances where there isn't an assistant reading or an intern reading. That is okay. That
yeah,
is to be
yeah.
expected, and that has been happening for decades of publishing.
That's how
And
we
the
all got
second thing,
started. That's how we all got started.
yeah. And the second thing is that time does not equate enthusiasm, or time does not equate like something is wrong with your manuscript.
No.
Everybody is working. Truthfully, it's a hard industry to work in. There's a lot coming at us at all different points. We have a lot on our plates. Everybody does, every agent does. So people read when they can.
Yeah.
If you get a response, I think it's just a good thing. You get a response, and if you get one quickly, you get to move on and you get to close that book and you get to go to the next thing.
Yep.
So, well,
I
because
do
there's
know
all,
there are a lot of authors who are very appreciative of the quick responses
yeah,
because I think the more painful ones are the ones where you don't get a response or it's months and months of sort of how long do you wait? How long do you hold out hope and those kinds
yeah.
of things.
And I guess the third takeaway is that a couple comments on my query tracker really could make me spiral. Because I've been stewing on this for a while. I'm like, I am reading all of these queries with my own two eyeballs.
Well, did you get it out now?
I'm good now. Yeah, I just wanted
Okay,
everybody to
good.
know that I'm reading my queries. Thank you. Please query me. I'm looking for new projects to work on.
Love it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you back here next week.
Bye.